Dear Pierce, I'm recording this video for you because I'm about to make a big announcement. And it's gonna be tough for us. You know, I'm not gonna be able to tuck you in every night or do our nighttime prayers together. But these are sacrifices so many hardworking families have to make every single day. Fighting for what you believe in is hard enough, but it's worth doing when you found something that makes your heart beat faster. And for me, it's you. Yeah, I've started a nonprofit, owned a small business in Detroit, even beat cancer. Served on President Obama's cancer panel, earned Ivy League degrees, and written best-selling books. But for me, adopting you is the greatest thing I've done in my life. You see, the world you're growing up in doesn't feel like it's getting any better. It's more divisive and more dangerous. When you told me that you were afraid to go to school because of shootings, it's not freedom. Our economy works for the richest, while the most vulnerable have to work even harder than ever to keep up. That's not freedom. At the core of so much of this are too many politicians in office that don't really care about people. You see, what I learned on my grandfather's farm growing up is that when you plant something in good soil, you get something much better in return. That's why I'm raising you in Michigan. A community where people are kind, work hard, and believe the future is worth fighting for. Because every child in every neighborhood, in every town across Michigan deserves the freedom to flourish. I believe our government should work for the people, be a force for good, and protect our freedoms. And that won't happen if we keep electing the same type of people to office. That's why I'm running for the United States Senate, to represent Michigan. I love you, son, and I hope to make you proud.
So we're here in Vintage Eastern Market, great vintage store, looking for a seat that I can sit in the U.S. Senate. I think I may have found it. This is perfect. Will you do me the honor of signing the seat, because it's our seat for the U.S. Senate.
Fight for public safety, cause we ain't really had like enough of that lately. Tired of all these other runner-ups trying to lie to me. Hill Harper about to help build a strong economy. Gotta fight for women's rights and affordable health care. Hill Harper here to make sure that we got the help there, cause we need somebody that's gonna make sure that we really straight. And he got plans to decrease our insurance rates. We talking actor, author, father, activist, union leader, and Harvard Law School graduate. Once he get in, trust me, it ain't no stopping him. He'll gonna bring the fight for us all back to Washington. Hey, if you tired of working harder, go Hill Harper. If we trying to move smarter, go Hill Harper. See it in big bold letters. believe
If you
in
know
better.
someone in
Hill
Michigan,
Harbor.
you got to call them. You got to educate them and say, you know what, there's a brother on the ballot August 6th. There's been a higher percentage of black U.S. presidents than black U.S. senators. Think about that. There's only been 12 black U.S. senators out of 2003. And there's only been 4 out of those 12 in the history of America that did it the way I'm attempting to do it, which is win a primary and then win a general. 8 of the 12 were either first when they got in, were either appointed first or run through special election. So what we're trying to do is extremely rare. The last primary African-American turnout was, what would you guess for the last primary?
I have no idea.
Just take a guess. Percentage.
20%, 30%?
Yeah, that would be wonderful. 10%. How are we going to elect candidates when we're turning out?
How do we combat voter apathy, especially in our community?
That, you're making my point. If you know someone in Michigan, you got to call them. You got to educate them and say, you know what, there's a brother on the ballot August 6th. Hi, I'm Hill Harper, and I'm running to be the next U.S. Senator for Michigan. And I'm in this race to represent the people of Michigan, not big donors, not the establishment. And I'm fighting for better working conditions for everyday people and better solutions from our so-called leaders in Washington. And now I'm stepping up to serve you. You see, we're building a movement that will bring material change for citizens. So can you chip in what you can today, $5, $10, $25, to elect an unbossed, unbought champion to go to the U.S. Senate? Michigan is more than just a state.
This is my seat.
It's a powerhouse of innovation and grit. From the farmlands to neighborhoods of this Midwestern state, we are doers, movers, and shakers, trailblazers, fueled by a relentless spirit, a state of mind, body, and soul. Our differences make us unique, but it's our hustle and grit that binds us together. This Senate seat belongs to you. This seat represents the diversity of our people, communities, and businesses. And that's why I'm here to fight for you. The small business owners, college students, and creatives, it's time to shake up the norm and bring the power back to the people.
This is my seat.
This is your seat. Michigan, are you ready? Vote Hill Harper, U.S. Senate 2024.
Everybody up the hill, there's a way, if there's a will.
Dear peers, I'm recording this video for you because I'm about to make a big announcement. And it's gonna be tough for us. You know, I'm not gonna be able to tuck you in every night or do our nighttime prayers together. But these are sacrifices so many hardworking families have to make every single day. Fighting for what you believe in is hard enough, but it's worth doing when you found something that makes your heart beat faster. And for me, it's you. Yeah, I've started a nonprofit, owned a small business in Detroit, even beat cancer. Served on President Obama's cancer panel, earned Ivy League degrees, and written best-selling books. But for me, adopting you is the greatest thing I've done in my life. You see, the world you're growing up in doesn't feel like it's getting any better. It's more divisive and more dangerous. When you told me that you were afraid to go to school because of shootings, it's not freedom. Our economy works for the richest, while the most vulnerable have to work even harder than ever to keep up. That's not freedom. At the core of so much of this are too many politicians in office that don't really care about people. You see, what I learned on my grandfather's farm growing up is that when you plant something in good soil, you get something much better in return. That's why I'm raising you in Michigan. A community where people are kind, work hard, and believe the future is worth fighting for. Because every child in every neighborhood, in every town across Michigan deserves the freedom to flourish. I believe our government should work for the people, be a force for good, and protect our freedoms. And that won't happen if we keep electing the same type of people to office. That's why I'm running for the United States Senate, to represent Michigan. I love you, son, and I hope to make you proud.
Michigan voters will choose their next senator this election year. Actor and Detroit native Hill Harper is one of many candidates now in the race.
The Democrat is known for his work on CSI New York, Limitless, and The Good Doctor. He's running against Congresswoman Alyssa Slotkin and businessman Nasser Beydoun. Voters will decide in the August 6th primary who will be the Democratic nominee. And Hill Harper joins us live in the studio tonight. Thank you for being here.
Great to be here. Thank you.
So for the viewers who haven't heard an interview with you before, we got to start with the why. You've had a successful career on some big shows people might know you from. Why turn away from all of that and try to head to Washington?
You know, I've always been about service and about figuring out a way to have impact and legacy, whether it's through my foundations or my books or my acting. And this is an extension of that. People are hurting. So many people. I was just at a house over the weekend where somebody invited me over to say, Hill, you got to deal with this issue when you're in the Senate. It's the unhoused population. There was black mold all over the walls. We removed a door. As soon as the door hit the ground, someone outside picked it up and ran away with it. Point is that there's so many people that don't feel represented. They don't feel that Washington is actually helping them. They think it's actually hurting them, and they want real representation.
Oftentimes we see actors sometimes go into the world of politics, but there can be some concern for voters in terms of whether or not this is someone who can represent them in the political arena because of the background. You mentioned your foundation and that being something that you're proud of. What is your answer to them?
Well, you know, it's quite simple. You know, I'm a unique individual just because, you know, I went to Harvard Law School, graduated at the top of my class there. I went to Harvard's Kennedy School of Government, graduated at the top of my class. President Obama appointed me to the President's Cancer Panel in 2011, where I served actually working with then Vice President Biden's moonshot to cancer, where we made recommendations to the White House on cancer policy and funding cancer research. And so those are my kind of, as you say, whether it's the law side or whether it's the government side being appointed by the president, there's that. But there's also, yeah, I'm an actor who, you know what the beautiful thing about being an actor is that you learn to you learn empathy. You learn to walk in someone else's shoes. And the beautiful thing is combining those skills. I'm also a small business owner. So if I get elected to the Senate, watch this. I'll be the only active union member in the U.S. Senate. I'm a 32-year union member who's elected to the National Board of My Union. I'd be the only one of two parents of a school-age child. My son is actually here. Single parents know what that's like to work and actually bring your child along, and we need that representation. I'd also be one of the only few small business owners. I own a small business here in downtown Detroit, the Roasting Plant Coffee Shop downtown at Campus Martius. So when we talk about it, we want that level of diversity in the U.S. Senate. We just don't want career politicians there. I hear it from people all over the state that they're tired of asking these politicians for solutions that never come. And, you know, my father was a psychiatrist, and he always used to say the definition of insanity was continue to do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. We keep electing the same type of politicians over and over again, yet they don't deliver for people. And this is a people-powered campaign.
So you are relatively new to Michigan. You've been here several years. Why should Michiganders trust that you can represent everyone from here in Southeast Michigan up to the UP?
So
and what brought you here?
I've been to all 83 counties. I moved here 8 years ago. I wanted to raise my son here. You know, at the end of the day, there was a great policy that we used to have here that hopefully we're all fighting to get back, and that's a media tax credit. I came here and I did a number of projects. And also my roommate, when I was at Harvard Law School, is a plastic surgeon here, Dr. Charles Boyd, and he's always, man, you got to move here, you got to move here. So I said to myself, when I raise kids, when I have my children, I want to raise them here. I want them to turn out like folks here as opposed to Hollywood. And so my son's 8 years old, and I've been here 8 years. And it's been a blessing. The greatest people in the world are here. And I always tell people, Coleman Young wasn't from here. He's from Alabama, too. So I was born in Iowa. So there's a Midwestern roots that I have. But at the end of the day, it's not always where you're from, it's where you're at. and is what you're willing to do for people. And my track record of service of people, obviously through my books and through my foundation and being an activist, is what I stand on. And I'm proud of that record. There's no other person in this field that has a degree from Harvard Law School. There's no other person in this field that has a degree from Harvard's Kennedy School of Government. There's no other person in this field that has had a successful career like I've had, and I'm proud of that.
Quickly, before we let you go, what are some of the biggest issues that you think this state specifically is dealing
Without
with?
question, we need to pass universal health care. We need to get that done. It's the #1 cause of personal bankruptcies. GoFundMe, 1/3 of GoFundMes are medical related. GoFundMe is not a health plan. We need to pass women's reproductive freedom, women's reproductive rights. It has to get codified federally. We need to pass the PRO Act and undergird our unions, give the National Labor Relations Board real teeth, real meat. And we need to pass the John Lewis Voting Rights and Advancement Act. We got to undergird the fact that we've let the Voting Rights Act of 1965 lapse is a problem. So we also have to get rid of Citizens United. It's the #1 thing that's killing our democracy, without question. Untethered, unlimited, dark money in our politics. My opponent is a recipient of a great deal of that type of money and that type of funding. We got to get that out of politics if people are going to get represented as opposed to special interest, corporate interest. The Michigan Constitution and the U.S. Constitution begin with the same 3 words, we the people. They don't start with we the super PAC or we the politician. And people need to be represented first, and that's what my candidacy does.
Before we do let you go, I just want to make sure to ask about an issue that is deeply important to many of our viewers, and that's the war in Gaza.
Yeah.
Do you support a permanent ceasefire, and what is your level of support for supporting the Israeli military?
Yeah, so I called for ceasefire in early November. Over 75% of Michigan Democrats support ceasefire. And, my opponent is out of line with, I believe, what Michigan Democrats want. And without question, when people pay their tax dollars, I don't think that they're thinking that they're going to fund the killing of children overseas. And so we cannot rubber stamp spending for overseas wars. And I have a saying that I say all the time: there is no good war and there's no bad peace. And we as a country have to follow that, and we want to follow that. I was at a senior facility today talking with people, and they're very upset about how their tax dollars are being used. And too many of our politicians are rubber stamping policy because they're in the pocket of special interest. My opponent has received over $600,000 from AIPAC. And, that's a problem. I got offered $20 million to actually run against a candidate that AIPAC wants to take out, the only Palestinian member of Congress. And so we have to understand that with Citizens United in place, these type of offers happen because they think money can be determinative of outcome of election, and that's all anybody wants. And I can't be bought, I can't be bossed, I can't be bullied, and I refuse to be.
All right, well, that is our time for today. Hill Harper, candidate for U.S. Senate, thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Give it up for James Chappelle.
This is not a time to be complacent or afraid. The problem in Michigan is that people don't know that you have a primary in August. But man, you're doing the right thing, Hill. You're doing exactly what I do. Just talk to the streets and you'll be fine. Call your friends, mobilize people and tell them to vote. I know Hill for a long time. He's not a career politician. It's not polls and focus groups that moves his mind. Put somebody in office that actually can hear your voice or is connected to these streets. Having your heart in the right place or being authentic in a time like this is a miracle of human behavior. Make some noise for the man of the hour, Hill Harper.
Hi, I'm Hill Harper, and I'm running to be the next U.S. Senator for Michigan. And I'm in this race to represent the people of Michigan, not big donors, not the establishment. And I'm fighting for better working conditions for everyday people and better solutions from our so-called leaders in Washington. And now I'm stepping up to serve you. You see, we're building a movement that will bring material change for citizens. So can you chip in what you can today, $5, $10, $25, to elect an unbossed, unbought champion to go to the U.S. Senate? Michigan is more than just a state.
This is my seat.
It's a powerhouse of innovation and grit. From the farmlands to neighborhoods of this Midwestern state, we are doers, movers, and shakers, trailblazers, fueled by a relentless spirit, a state of mind, body, and soul. Our differences make us unique, but it's our hustle and grit that binds us together. This Senate seat belongs to you. This seat represents the diversity of our people, communities, and businesses. And that's why I'm here to fight for you. The small business owners, college students, and creatives, it's time to shake up the norm and bring the power back to the people.
This is my seat.
This is your seat. Michigan, are you ready? Vote Hill Harper, U.S. Senate 2024.
Everybody up the hill, there's a way, there's a will.
So we're here in vintage Eastern Market, great vintage store, looking for a seat that I can sit in the U.S. Senate. I think I may have found it. This is perfect. Will you do me the honor of signing the seat, because it's our seat for the U.S. Senate.
Public safety, cause we ain't really had like enough of that lately. Tired of all these other runner-ups trying to lie to me. Hill Harper about to help build a strong economy. Gotta fight for women's rights and affordable health care. Hill Harper here to make sure that we got the help there, cause we need somebody that's gonna make sure that we really straight. And he got plans to decrease our insurance rate. We talking actor, author, father, activist, union leader, and Harvard Law School graduate. Once he get in, trust me, it ain't no stopping him. He'll gonna bring the fight for us all back to Washington. Hey, if you tired of working harder, vote Hill Harper. If we trying to move smarter, vote Hill Harper. See it in big bold letters, vote Hill Harper. Gotta believe in better, vote Hill Harper. If you tired of working harder, vote Hill Harper. If we trying to move smarter, vote Hill Harper. See it in big bold letters, vote Hill Harper. Gotta believe in better, vote Hill Harper.
You've got to call them. You've got to educate them and say, you know what, there's a brother on the ballot August 6th. There's been a higher percentage of black U.S. presidents than black U.S. senators. Think about that. There's only been 12 black U.S. senators out of 2003. And there's only been 4 out of those 12 in the history of America that did it the way I'm attempting to do it, which is win a primary and then win a general. 8 of the 12 were either first when they got in, were either appointed first or run through special election. So what we're trying to do is extremely rare. The last primary African-American turnout was, what would you guess for the last primary?
I have no idea.
Just take a guess. Percentage.
20%, 30%?
Yeah, that would be wonderful. 10%. How are we going to elect candidates when we're turning out?
How do we combat voter apathy, especially in our community?
That, you're making my point. If you know someone in Michigan, you got to call them. You got to educate them and say, you know what, there's a brother on the ballot August 6th.
brothers and sisters when they get out, it's just tough just to get reacclimated back into society, right? You know, I'm from New York, so sometimes people say that again. Tough just to get reacclimated. Yeah. Oh, that was an echo. Yeah, I was just saying, I'm from New York City, so sometimes when people get out, they have to get used to like what is the Metro card and different things like that, and getting jobs. And I know that's something that you will be diving deeper into once
we have to
I'll
reduce
speak
mass
it.
incarceration.
Right.
5% of the world's population, we hold 25% of the world's inmates. Right now, there's no pathway to federal expungements. That's crazy. You're saying that we have the only way you can get commutation or expungement is a presidential signature. I mean, the way prosecutors do layering on of charges these days just to extort plea bargains, and you're not going to be able to expunge those when you know these are trumped up charges. I mean, the system is just foul. I mean, in all these ways, and we have to solve this. But listen, I'm talking too much. I want to hear y'all. I want to hear other folks talk. Don't.
Well, let me pass the mic to
Please
Phil.
pass it. Interview somebody else.
Yes, Phil.
Pass me the rock,
man. Yeah, Phil.
Interview Bun, please.
Yes, Phil, national organizer,
interview Phil. That's
Chicago
even
native,
better because the
South Florida resident.
IQ just went up. Interview Phil.
Yes, Phil, leader of Black Men Build. You do some tremendous work in Florida and across the country. What's some of the things that attracted you to coming on tonight and speaking with Hill and just being aware of his history?
Yeah. So first off, I want to say it's an honor to be on here with y'all. I'm not going to be long. We got an esteemed roster of people that I look up to, that I laugh with, that I rock with. And I want to create space for them. But I'm really honored to be able to kind of kick things off a little bit. We were talking, me and Bun were talking a little bit earlier about the change and the shift that we've seen right now in the country. And there is a great deal of excitement. And there's also a lot of people who are getting more educated about what this moment means, about Project 2025, about the urgency of this moment to be active and be engaged. And that's an exciting thing for me to see. I've been organizing since I went to college. I'm a native of Chicago, Illinois, West Inglewood, and I went to Florida A&M University. While there, I had the opportunity to invite Brother Hill Harper down to Florida A&M University for our State of the Student Summit some almost 20 years ago, brother. And so to be able to be on here, to witness where you are now, to see a fraternity brother, to see somebody who came to Florida A&M University with all type of accolades, with a long list of credits on stage, on screen, on film, and to see the level of humility that this brother has, right, has consistently exhibited it is an honor to be able to offer just some small words in support of your mission, because you are on mission, right, as we all are in this moment. I said it and I alluded to it just a few seconds ago, but Hill loves people. Bun laid out a list of criteria that he uses before he decides to throw his hat in the ring in support of somebody who is running for office. And I agree with each one of those points. And I'll add just this one: a deep love and a commitment for our people, right? And when I say our people, of course, I'm talking about Black people, absolutely, unequivocally, but I'm also talking about working people. I'm talking about women. I'm talking about Latino folks. I'm talking about laborers. I'm talking about the common people that our country forgets. These are the people who make this country run. And Hill has a history of not just having a love and a commitment for them, but not forgetting from whence he came, out of Iowa, right? Not forgetting the people who created the opportunities and the space for that crossroad to result in Hill running for office and not Hill running for the police and dead. And so the love and the commitment for the people is the reason why I'm here today, and why I want each and every one of you all to go out and do what you need to do up in Michigan for Hill, because Hill is going to do what he needs to do for you. This is a very pressing time. Every 4 years, we talk about this being the most important election in history. We say it all the damn time. Oh, if we don't do what we need to do. But this time is actual and factual. We need people like Hill up in Congress to prevent harm, great harm that is actually sweeping the country right now and currently. It is not hyperbole to say that these are life and death times, as Hill said. And we need people with a love, with a commitment, with a level of education, with a level of know-how, with the relationships that he has exhibited here on this call, right? And the relationships that he's built as he's knocking on doors. I've been following you on Instagram. I know I was supposed to return your call from December. Well, I got a little busy, man. I feel bad now, but let me tell you, Hill, listen, you're knocking on doors, you're talking to people, you're beating the pavement, and you're doing the work because of the love for the people. The issues that you're talking about, housing, right? Community justice reform, right? These are things that matter to everyday people. Now, me, I fancy myself a radical. You know, I don't know if you look at my Instagram posts, but I'm talking about all type of things, right? I want the whole country to be transformed tomorrow. I think this is an evil empire. But right now, we have an opportunity, a historic opportunity to send somebody to DC that you know represents you. You know he comes from you and won't forget from whence he came. And so I'm excited. I'm honored to be able to kick this thing off to the man that had a rock handed to me from Hill and from Bun B. I'm gonna remember this forever. JB, I love you. I'm a big Curb fan. I'm a big fan of all of y'all. When I met you being a few weeks ago, I stopped because I was like, don't be a lame. But I was about to rap This Can't Be Life to you. You know what I'm saying? Let me just tell y'all, I just want y'all to understand that these are people who are not here because they got paid to be here. They're not people who are here because this is a cool thing. They're people who are here because we believe that Hill, going to the Hill, is going to create conditions that allow for our people to thrive, not just survive, that allow for people like X to get out and never have to see the inside of the gulags of the prison ever again, that allow for our people to have the homes, to have the water, to have the schools that they deserve because they paid for it, not just in taxes, but in our blood. And so I really, I wish I wasn't in Miami where I live now and I could just go up to Detroit and do some things. But I'm here, and thanks to the magic of Zoom, I have the opportunity to just let y'all know that this is an important race, and this is a man of our time and a man for this time. And I'm really honored to be here with you, brother. So God bless everybody.
Beautiful, beautiful. And for everybody watching this right now, I just want to say we definitely need your energy at the polls, but you can go to www.helphillwin.com and donate to this campaign, because it does take funds, to keep moving forward as well. So that's helphillwin.com. Donate whatever you can or whatever you feel in your spirit. And let's see this brother go all the way to the top. I want to bring on the Smooth family. One of our favorite couples that we've been seeing on TV. I will concur with Phil is that Curb is absolutely that's my favorite show of all time. That's my GOAT show. Watching you and Larry David is incredible, and my whole family, we sit down and watch it. The two of you, it's amazing because you're always active as well. Tell me about your relationship with Hill, and what do you see him? How do you see him as being like our next big senator?
Hill knows. Look, this man, no matter what he does, he tackles everything with commitment. And I think what we are looking for, I think, in these times right now is we have to be inspired, right? But then we have to re-inspire. Our goal, I believe, through Hill is to see the results in our lifetime. of things that these seeds that have to be planted. Too many times we get caught up in things, but we don't see the results of it. You know, we don't see the complete results. We don't see the impact that someone like a Hill has on a family, on um, things that really matter, and we want to see the results of that. We want to see their kids prosper. We want to see a change in mentality, a change in thought. You know, re-educating ourselves so we can re-educate our kids. Because it's about us. It's about us right now, but it's not really about us. It's about what this man puts in motion. And if when Hill gets in there, he's going to make things happen. Everything he has done has been inspired by things that he was inspired by. This man was a roommate of freaking Barack Obama. He's close enough to feel this man, you know, being around him and seeing him in not just in the office, but in normal situations, playing basketball, hanging out, growing, learning, all these things. Those matter. So in turn, you get inspired to re-inspire. And you have to continue to inspire each other and the young people also. And I think, you know, I let my wife speak also, but I'm excited, man, about this man because I know this man's character. I know how hard he works. I've been seeing him on every level. This is just an extension of his heart. You know, this is an extension of what he's going to give to people. But it's the long ball. It's the long ball. People get caught up in the short ball, right? Because they don't understand that this is sometimes it's for the moment, but it's also for the future. And this man's gonna this is gonna make people behind him come up. This is all in the plan. Barack caused people to come up. Now Hill has the opportunity to keep people coming up.
Hello, everybody.
Hello,
I want to
hello.
say hey to Chi-Town Phil because that's where I'm from too. um, you know that we're in the entertainment industry, and so we met Hill because he's an actor, right? We fell in love with Hill's mind. He is a genius. He is brilliant. He is so smart. He elevates everyone that's around him, and just him always giving back to his community. We've been, being able to be around Hill in so many different capacities and being able to see him giving back to the community since we've known him and creating new spaces, new energies, and writing books that's going to provide information from places that he's already been, and being able to continue to help people grow and think outside the box, and being in a place where he doesn't have to even be in Michigan right now. He chose to be there. He chose to live there so that he can come into the community, make changes. And while he was living there, he's like, hey, wait a minute, I can actually provide something amazing to this space. I'm not just writing books right now. I'm not just speaking to the people. I'm actually coming into this community, and I can bring people that I know can help change and help put some financial means into what's happening, which is why we're here right now to, try to bring people closer to who he is and closer to the opportunities that he can bring. Hill is so freaking genius. We talk about him all the time, and just so excited to be able to see this come to life. Like, we want this to come to life for him so that he can show people what he has shown us just in these little bubbles that we have. So yes, he knows these great people, but Hill is great. So I'm excited that we get the opportunity to be here for him in any capacity, in any brother that's going to contribute to us as a people, as a brown people, as a black people, as a community, as a everything. Because Hill he's a man of all. He's speaking to us and for us, but he's also very much engulfed in many communities and many aspects of many levels. So it's very exciting to be able to see him here like this.
Yep. And one more thing.
I have a question for JB.
Okay.
I have a question for my brother JB.
Okay.
Because you would be the resident expert for this question. Is supporting Hill Harper, donating to Hill Harper's campaign, and voting for Hill Harper a safe bet?
It's definitely a safe bet. We in the entertainment world, right? We we are judged by what we do. People are like, we all show love and give flowers while we're here, right? We get those flowers. But it's we do something, but what we do is it only makes people love our job or our visibility. But your base still has to be your character.
Right.
How you treat people when you're walking through the airport. You know, you know how many times I've missed a plane, stopping, talking to somebody because I felt like in the moment, I knew I had to go in the back of my head, I got to catch this flight, but I knew that person needed something.
Mm-hmm.
This is the same situation.
Yeah.
You know, we need it. We need right now. And I know this man right here. I know that guy missed a flight for somebody. I know he will. Because sometimes that's a seed that's gotta be planted before you run down that corridor. Because that flight, man, you gotta make sure that what you're saying to someone, they get it before you run down the corridor. And that's where we are right now. This man right here is a sure bet. I'm guaranteeing you. Character is what we need. You know, take this stuff who we are off.
Yes.
That's nothing. That's nothing.
Well, I'm gonna go on www.helphillwin right now.
Yes, indeed, man. I tell everybody to do it right now.
I'm gonna donate right now. You guys continue the conversation.
Let's do it. I want to bring in a couple of my great brothers, Beans and Free. I've known these guys really since the beginning of their careers, when I was really young in my career, and I've actually had a chance to spend a lot of time with Beans lately in our pursuit on just getting people galvanized to be active coming election day. You know, no matter where you are, local, state, presidential, Senate, Congress, everything. We just want people to get galvanized to be active at the polls and getting information. And Free and Beans both have been always so active in their communities. And, you know, throughout the years, I've had so many deep conversations with both those brothers about just about everything from A to Z. But this is really the first time when we have really been talking about voting and politics. So I want to ask Free and Beans, when did you guys decide to, you know, just be more active in getting our brothers and sisters in the community and in our culture, you know, more active in going to the polls and voting?
Well, Benny Siegel here. It's time. It's time. Like me and Free, other artists out there, like Wayne O'Boy, I swear Vezo to the to a meeting. We have to use our platforms. We can't just take from the people. So we have to be able to give. And I appreciate, you know, my brother Marvin Bain educating me. I'm learning every day because this, you know, politics wasn't my field, but people is my field. You know, even within my music, you know, I give the pro and con. So I believe it's a duty. You know what I'm saying? The reason why I wanted to join this conversation tonight, because I understand the need to have representation like L. Harper, you know, that really cares, that works for people like me, a victim of gun violence, you know, a survivor of gun violence, you know, formerly incarcerated, a Black man, and someone without, you know, a second chance. You know, where would I be without that second chance? What about the brothers that's incarcerated that we fight for who might not have a second chance? You know, working with Marvin and with Mobilized Justice, you know, we trying to figure out a way to that people that's incarcerated have a right to vote while they're incarcerated, not having to wait, you know, for them to come home or get off papers or complete their fines and costs and all that. And I think Hill, you know, a good person that can advocate for that. I look at people like Phil, you know, I met Andrew, my brother, he couldn't be on the Zoom, but my son, you know, like I said, Marvin, people that go out and fight for the people every day. And like you said, we ain't getting paid to do this. This is not a monetary thing for me. My pay is results. You know what I mean? Results. For the people who, you know, who might not think their voice means something, you know, who don't care. So that's why I'm here, man. And that's, I think, you know, Free feel the same way. Free do work in the community every day. And I think, you know, I always said when you're a child, you think as a child, but when you're a man, you put those childish things aside. You know, I've been through it all. Everything. Life colorful. And, you know, I said this once, I said 1,000 times. I once was close to the problem. So being close to the problem, close to the solution. You know, I'm here. Question for Hill. How can you use me, Hill?
First of all, I'll tell you this. When I go around the state, I ask people this question, and it's the same answer all the time. I say, all y'all have had 2 senators your entire life, different people your entire life. How many can 10 people who worked in those offices? Your whole life, 0, 5, 0. Of course, you get down to 1, 0. And then I say, you haven't even been represented, right? I want to win this seat. And then I have a senator's budget to use. And to your point, and then fight for resources. So the point of the issue you just talked about, how does a program like that get funding? It gets funded by having you and I partnering together. We come and then we fight to get our part of that 7.2 trillion to go to that. Community violence intervention programs that are working really well right now. The ARPA dollars are gone for that. We got to fight to get that money back because no one else is going to fight for that. So we got to partner. That's we partner together and we walk in there and we talk about, okay, where does the funding need to go? Where does the legislation need to go? What programs people need to get the dollars? I was trying to talk to a young brother who had never voted, never considered voting. He said, so what you're telling me is we need to vote for you to go get the bag. And I was like, exactly, because you look at these boarded up buildings in Detroit, you think that there's somebody who doesn't want to open up a produce store to give produce that the community needs, like in a food desert? Of course there are. They just can't get the capital. I mean, that's it, right? You're gonna charge them 15% hard money loan plus down payment. You can't sell enough tomatoes to do that. But how come the big developers that write the big checks get a 0 interest loan plus a tax break that they can sell before they even build, so they didn't come out of pocket, but end up with beautiful brand new three block building. And so the answer is partnering. You and I partner. You say, Hill, this is where I want to focus my energy and efforts, and I need resources to do it. I go fight for that.
Incredible. Free, I want to hear from you, my brother. Oh, there you go, Bun B.
Bun B.
There it is.
Okay. This is the first step. This is the first step. We got to put money where our mouth is to support this brother, so that he can put money where his mouth is.
I'm gonna go. Blade Icewood.
Yeah, we balling out early in the game. We got a lot.
Helphillwin.com.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, myself, and first of all, shout out to everybody that's on the call. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in. For those that don't know, I'm Philadelphia Freeway. And me and my brother Beanie Siegel, we had ties to Michigan for years. We got people that we care about in Michigan. We still got great relationships with a lot of people. And as far as Hill, I've been rocking with you, from your amazing characters to your books, educating our young brothers and sisters, to your advocacy work. for me, most importantly, your stance on education, because I feel like education is very important. I started a foundation called Freedom Thinkers Academy, which is music, health, education, and culture. And in the city of Philadelphia and in Delaware, I have partnerships with organizations. To date, we graduated 131 students. We have workforce development programs, medical billing and coding, phlebotomy, medical tech, audio visual engineering. And I feel like the main reason why we're doing that is because there's a lot of violence and negativity in our cities. And we present these young folks with this opportunity to take this course, get their certifications, and we assist them in getting jobs in that area. And I feel like do that or be in the streets, risk your life. Like, what choice would you make? You know, so I feel like each and every one of us have to play our part. And I feel like it's very important for us to have representation in them seats that's on the same page that we are. You know, you look like us, you come from the same background we come from, entertainment. And you know, it's important. And like the brother was saying, we planting the seed, but this is really for our next generations. Like, you know, I was faced with a lot of, calamities within the past 6-7 years. I was on dialysis from September 2015 to February 5th, 2019, when I received my gift of life. 2020, I lost my son. 2021, I lost my daughter to cancer. 2022, I lost my dad to dementia. When I first started dealing with politics, I got into dealing with politics because of healthcare. We need healthcare. It's a lot of things that's in place that's not good for our people, and we need to change that. You know, so that's the main reason why I stepped into the field, and I decided to do my part and do as much as I can do to help the people. And I feel like you're on the same page that we on, and you got our support 100%.
Yeah.
Incredible, man. Incredible. You know, we all holding each other up. Wayno, we heard a little bit from you at the beginning. There's more people tuning in, and you have such an interesting story, man. First time when I met Wayno for the first time, I met him as a manager. He was managing, and he's gone on to be such a just an advocate for all of us, for our culture, by not just his talking as a great media analyst, not just a great A&R, but he makes these brands that he works with actually put some dollars in the community. So I applaud you for that. And I also applaud you, we've had a chance to be on the ground together and, going into the neighborhoods and sharing information with people. Tell us a little bit about your story on getting involved in politics and also coming into contact with him.
Well, first off, I'd like to say that, for me being a young man and growing up, I heard JB say a lot of things about entertainment. I'm living a dream right now, just being able to be, on a Zoom with you guys. From Beans and Free, they've known me since I was a kid, trying to get in the game. I met Bun when I was a kid, when he was coming up to Quad, you know what I mean, in the game. And again, I'm very honored. For myself, one of the reasons why I started to get into politics is because I just started getting kind of bored with my life. I know that might sound a little crazy, but it's just like working in music is like, okay, new artists, you know what I mean? Then this media, talk about the new artists. And I started to look around at, for myself, coming from, the east side of Harlem, I was able to pull myself up, you know what I mean, and use my platform to get out of that. But there's so many people who won't get that same opportunity because they lack information and lack resources. And I started to learn that, I remember going to school in the mornings and seeing like the councilman standing at the train station, shaking people's hands. And I didn't get it, right? Like I really didn't get it. And, like I said, with time and understanding and getting older, I look at my children and I want them to have opportunities that I wasn't able to have. I don't want them to have to work as hard as I had to work to be in the position I'm in. Fortunately, I'm a high school dropout, and it's a big community of people who don't finish high school and get very discouraged with life because they don't think, or they're told they won't be anything. And I just wanted to ask you, Hill, this is one of the questions I have. With running for such an important seat, in politics, there's going to be so many people that say, well, one man can't change everything, right? Like one person, we can't just look to one person to help us. So I wanted to know the process of roster building, right? Like I love basketball and I love the off season because we get to see the moves. So I wanted to know, like, with you running for this seat in office, what's the process of you taking and building the right team so it affects the people, right? Because it can't just be, oh, Hill's going to do everything, right? Like you have to have a team around you, people who believe and donate and, speak truth and light into what it is that you're trying to accomplish. But how is it to build that team so that the things that we express can come to fruition?
Great question. And so I think that happens on many different verticals, right? So you have political power, infrastructure that you want to build. And how do you do that? One way is, I was shocked, to be honest, when I went to run, and I went to some people that I really love and respect. I said, so, okay, so where's the infrastructure of movement building, of this and that for Michigan and this office, and everybody is operating in these individual silos, and we aren't using our collective power. And we're seeing the other side do it. I mean, they're doing Project 2025. I remember back when I was in Harvard Law School, way back in the day, there was a guy that I used to argue with in class all the time. And one time I asked him, I said, he was going somewhere. We talk after, we were different in terms of our politics, but we could still talk after class. He said, man, I got to go. I said, where are you going? He said, I'm going to Boston. I said, for what? He said, oh, this organization called the Heritage Foundation. We're having a meeting. This is, we talk on late 80s, early 90s. So what you're seeing is coordinated, planned, strategic effort. And the other side is much better, that I've noticed, that they can disagree on 9 things, agree on 1, and go storm the Capitol. In our community, it seems we agree on 9, disagree on 1. I can't work with them. I'm gonna do my own thing. I can't, and so we have a lot of people who are in silos where the collective power and strength. And so what I'd like to do is use the resources that come out of the ability to hire 60 to 100 people, the resources that come out of being able to add earmark legislation and distribution of resources to specific folks who are already doing the work, that just need gas in the car. They just need the resources to amplify, and then let people combine that collective power. So that's politically. And then when it comes to supporting organizations, whether it be nonprofits, whether it be entrepreneurs, whether it be public education in schools, whether it's healthcare, these big tentpole things, voting rights, healthcare, common sense, public safety, all of this stuff that needs to get done, finding, again, partners. Dr. King said, we're all tied together in a single garment of mutual destiny. That means that we're inextricably linked. No matter how well someone's doing, if someone else is not doing well, then we're not doing well. And so how do we honor that idea? And it started when we started this conversation. How do we lead with empathy, lead with love, lead with our heart, and then fight, because it is a fight. There are people fighting and planning to take away your power, your money, your ability to thrive, your autonomy over your body, your relationship with your physician, your ability to vote, your ability to own a home, your ability, there are folks attempting to extract that from you and from us, and we're in a fight. And so to me, it's about collective action and scale. That's the way we do it, right? Mm. And then legacy building. So if we have a plan and we so for instance, with this campaign, there have been, even the folks that are, let's say, donating tonight or part of this, we now have a group of folks, this panel here that we're talking about, we're in this together. So when Phil needs this, or Bum B's doing something, Free and Beanie are doing something, whoever, I'm there. They're showing up for this now in this moment, but then we're going to show up again for this moment over here. And then all of a sudden things start to go like that. We saw it happen on the other side. I mean, you saw how Trump literally has built, it's literally an army of influence up and down the ballot. They going after school boards, they're literally getting rid of books. They banned one of my books. They banned Letters to a Young Brother at a library. It won the American Library Association Award Best Book for Young Adults back in the day, 2007. They banned the book, trying to talk about it was racial. I mean, that's really what's going on, y'all. And that was in one library school district. So we have to be just as elevated in our planning and in our collective action, in our blueprint, and then work together. We got to work. We got to get out of this idea of we're working in these silos. We got to work together. And this is a great example of this. So I say, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We're modeling what we're talking about, right? Right now, this is a model of that's how we do this.
Absolutely. We have several young people that's on this that's viewing tonight, and the question from a lot of them are, how do they get involved? Like, not just donating or not just voting. There's young people on here that they see things in the community that's affecting them. They're concerned about the police brutality. They're concerned about getting jobs. I will ask it to the people on the panel. What advice do you have for young people that want to get involved and make change, starting off locally and also on a national level?
I'll jump out there first. I think for me, a lot of these things are very easy to see in the community. It's very easy to see who's active. I live in Houston, so there are places like the Shape Community Center, which has been active for decades in Houston. I come from the town where Barbara Jordan and Sheila Jackson Lee, may she rest in peace, where you have always had shining examples of people who look like you, who not only represent a district, but come from that district, understand that district, visit the district, commune with the people of that district. There are leaders in our communities, and they're always looking for volunteers, right? There's always going to be strength in numbers. For me, I tend to go and look at clergy and not just the Baptist pastors, right? I go and talk to Brother Muhammad. You know what I'm saying? In Houston, we also have a Shrine of Black Madonna. There are a multitude of different community leaders around the city that are active, and they're not just active for themselves. When I look out in my city, the same people that are fighting in Black communities fight in brown communities. They fight in any underserved communities. They speak up for people who are not spoken for, right? They communicate the language of the unspoken people to the masses. So I would say, like, you could definitely start by looking at the people here, right? Looking at the people on this particular stream, and you know who their contemporaries are, right? And so much information is being shared on social media now that you can see who is actively fighting to be seen, to be heard, and to elevate other voices of people who need to be put in positions of power, because it's not for selfish reasons. Because of the fact that they see that the power has been misappropriated for years now, basically since the beginning of the system for certain communities in America, and there has to be change. There has to be a true effective change in these communities. And so we have to seek it out, right? So young people that are on college campuses, look at your student government. Look at the people in your student government. Those are the people who are building themselves up to represent you in this world. Go to those people and ask them why they're running for student government. What are their plans for student government on campus? If they were elected to a position off campus, what would those plans be? Don't just go out and look and see who's running and get behind it. Ask them questions like we're asking Hill tonight. We all believe in Hill, but we still want to make sure that the things that we care and have concern for will be addressed when the people that we vote for get into office. Hill is offering you the opportunity to ask him those tough questions, to hear you out, and to give you an answer that will sustain what it is that you're looking for. And so those are the places to start. I'm sure people like Phil can give you a better pathway to other organizations as well. But that's where, for me, that's where it started. As an entertainer, I didn't have the same cultural entry point that many other people had into politics. We didn't watch, Meet the Press on Sunday mornings in my home. We typically listen to church music. You know what I'm saying? I'm older now. I understand that there has to be a balance in those Sunday morning conversations. in our homes now. It just has to be. We can't think that God is going to save everything. I'm not telling people to not follow God and not embrace God, but you got to meet God where he is. You have to meet him where he is. And in order for us to affect real change, we have to meet the people who are active in our communities where they are. Work with them to build them up or build up who we think should be running or at least the voice of concern for our communities.
Yes. Yes. I Hill's been honored at my Boys and Girls Club. And I mean, he knows what this is. You know, what you involve yourself in is what determines the future. It really does. And I'm happy we have some younger people on because, and then, like I said earlier, this is as much about you as it is people in the moment right now. It really is about you and what you do with the power that this man can give you. And power is knowledge. And what people don't realize is some things that motivate things and drive the culture or drive the ability to do things is intentional and sometimes it's unintentional. There's two ways to see it. Intentional things, I mean, naiveness comes from unintentional. You don't know what you're doing that's not benefiting anybody because you're so stuck in that moment. So now I say, young people, involve yourself in as many programs as possible. The Boys and Girls Club is one. Book clubs, things that span knowledge and will span your neighborhood. Even, anything and everything, a cleanup day. People need to know that people care about things. I know it's a lot going on, but the right person in the right position can continue to feed that. We got to continue to feed it. And that's not just him. That's not just Hill's responsibility. It's everybody has to continue to feed these things that require attention. You're gonna have victories and you're not gonna have victories, but that's it. We are in this pocket right now, and I use our timeline as an example. Your timeline right now is limited. You're not gonna be here forever. You might not. Some people are not gonna see their kids where they end up at. They're not, but they have to try to make an effort, right? And that includes voting, that includes getting out, putting responsible people in these positions. And later on, if you're blessed to be here, you can thank people like a Hill that he's had such a passion for this. And you gotta have someone who has a passion for it. And the time is like someone else said earlier, the time is now. The time has been here, but the time is really now. To really think about how we see each other later. Are these issues going to be resolved that we need? We still need, but Flint still needs water. I mean, come on, man. There's so many things that need to be tackled, and it's not being done by these regular means. How do we set fire to that ass? You know what I mean?
I mean, 10 years in, and Flint still hasn't gotten the resources and the money. It is just outrageous. But I want to throw it to London Charles, who joined us, because I know she has a premiere that she has to get to. I'm just so happy you joined, because you're from here, your family's from Michigan and here, and I know, and I don't know if you want to talk about it or not, but you're just a beautiful niece who was at Michigan State, was one of the students during the mass shooting there that had been shot. And, I just want to say, you're a voice for so many women. You have such a massive following, and you being from here, people obviously that I meet all the time in Detroit talk about you all the time, and just appreciate you jumping in. We were talking about what can young people do, but just whatever you want to offer as far as your thoughts. I know you haven't heard the conversation we've been having, but thank you for jumping in.
I've been listening.
Oh, you've been listening. Okay, good.
Absolutely.
Okay.
First of all, I feel honored to be in this room. I'm a fan of everybody that is a part of the Zoom. I know many of you. Hey, Hill, congratulations. You are on your way to Washington. We're just going to claim it right now. Number one, because we need you, we respect you, and it is time for a you as a senator representing Michigan, my home state. It's not only a beautiful thing to find out about. Like when you first mentioned that you were doing this, when you first said it, I'm like, oh my God, this is the perfect person. I mean, you give back in ways that people can't even imagine. When that happened with my niece, you were one of the first people to reach out to me and you're like, listen, I'm not in Michigan, but I know you're on your way to Michigan. Whatever it is that I can do to assist you and your family, I want to do it immediately. And without hesitation, you just offered up your home to me and my children. And that was amazing. You have a heart of gold. You are not only intelligent, your love for people, and I mean all people, is just beyond commendable. You are just an incredible person, and I'm just elated to know you and to see you doing something like this. It means so much coming from someone who's from the east side of Detroit, born and raised my entire life. So I have been around through the throes of things, the ups, the downs, the highs, and the lows. And when I say that it is imperative that someone is sitting in that seat representing the state of Michigan, who is about the people and who is about, us having equity. You always speak on that. You always speak on us having housing. And that's something that people don't realize, that there are people that look like you and I who are homeless right now. People who have 9 to 5s, who have been working for, decades, who are homeless. That's a reality, and a reality check. And so we need you in that position. I'm excited for it. I claim it already. And I thank you for allowing me to even speak on your behalf. I feel beyond honored. Thank you so much.
Listen, thank you. If everybody who follows you just voted for me here in Michigan, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Oh, there's
it's a wrap.
They're like, everywhere we go, Hill Harper is there. I'm like, you thought you've seen him. You're gonna really see him. Wait till he get this position. He's gonna be really, in the thick of things. And I'm so excited for that, for Detroit, for Michigan, for the entire state of Michigan, for our country. We need you as representation. I'm excited.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
It means a lot. It means so much. And so with that, I know we're talking, I don't want to skip over the youth at all. Let's make sure we continue along that line, because we looked at the data. Less than 2% of young people that are not in college vote in a primary. Like they feel like there's nothing there for them. A lot of young people feel like there's no reason. It's like, what difference does it make? No. I was talking to a young brother last night in downtown. He's like, I've never voted and I'm never gonna vote. And then we talked. It's like, but the one that really got me, 42 Doug had a block party on the east side about, I don't know, it was about 4 weeks ago. And he was like, please come. So I come to the block party. There was so many amazing young men there, right? And so we gathered them over. I was like, how many of y'all ever voted? No hands went up. And finally tried to convince a few of them. And then the young brother, this is what broke my heart. Young brother said, okay, you convinced me I'm gonna vote, but I don't want to feel stupid. I won't know what names to write in. And that hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, oh, I got to check my assumptions. No one's ever shown him a ballot.
Right.
He doesn't realize you just fill in bubbles, right? And it made me like emotional and angry. It's like, what are we doing, y'all? Of course, he's not gonna go vote because he thinks he's got to know who it is. It's like he doesn't even know what's gonna happen when he walks in there to vote. It's like we haven't even taught our young people what a ballot looks like. And what we haven't even told them, okay, you're going to go in, you're going to show your ID, they're going to hand you this thing, you're going to go over to this place by yourself. No one's going to be looking at you. You'll be totally solo. It's your private moment. There's no embarrassment. There's no nothing. You're going to fill in some bubbles of who you want to vote for. You can only fill in one bubble if that's how you want to vote for the one person you know, and then turn that thing in. It's like we haven't even done that. And so, of course, what are we expecting them to come do something that it's so foreign that they're like, no, I don't want to feel stupid. There's places I don't go because I'm like, I've never been. I don't know what they're going to ask me to do. And so it really broke my heart. So to the young people on here, please know we need you, and please grab other folks, take them to vote early, take them to vote on August 6th. And we got to do better. I mean, at the end of the day, we got to do better.
We got five more days. 5 more days. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was saying everybody needs to start donating as well.
Absolutely. Helphillwin.com. Everybody, please go there and donate. It's not too late. We got to get involved. We got to keep it going. It's this race is real critical. Right at the real critical point right now. 5 more days to make sure that this man gets his rightful seat, and it's going to wind up helping so many people. So many people. London, I want to ask you, you being from Detroit, and tell us about, just some of the impact that you've seen Hill have by actually being there, 10 toes down and being in the communities and seeing what's going on in person.
Well, Hill's a big deal. Most people know him as Hill Harper, this great actor. Now they're finding out that he is far more than that. And when I say that he hits the pavement running, that's what my city is like. Like, I'm from the Midwest. They like to see action. They're not about all talk. So that's what they respect about him. Just like he said, 42 Doug asked him to come out. You have some heavy hitters who wouldn't probably go to that event if they're not familiar. But he's like, okay, let me go over here. Let me have this conversation. Let me get to know these people who I'm, representing. So I love that about him from the moment that he got there. When he purchased the home, that is an amazing, historical landmark in Detroit. So that was even a big deal to see somebody that looked like myself be able to do something like that. That's walking it, not just talking it. So they like the fact that he is not just trying to represent us, he's a part of us. And he gets into, the streets, and he has these tough conversations. And he has his son, even Pierce, like it's a big deal. He's just not, showing up during the campaign season. From the moment that he decided that he wanted to be a part of Michigan, you've seen him, his business, his son, his family, his works, everything has been present. And this isn't a show. This has been his character, since we've heard of Hill Harper. So Detroit respects that.
Absolutely. We have some questions coming in from some of the people that's viewing this, and trying to pull up, some of the questions from some of the people. One of the questions is, Hill, it says, how will you support the next president to ensure Michigan gets funding for infrastructure and schools?
Great question. And it speaks to something that's very interesting that I think people have to understand. The president does not control the money. And I think that's what a lot of people get, like, even when they're complaining about Barack, like, Barack didn't get me, the U.S. Senate controls the money, y'all.
Right.
The president can do presidential orders and different things to allocate resources in specific individual ways. But when we talk about the big budget, the $7.2 trillion that is the annual federal budget right now, that's the U.S. Senate. And so obviously I'm going to work as hard as I can to get Kamala elected and have her win. But I'll be in the body that decides how the money is distributed. And I try to break it down easy to people and try to make them think about this. Do you want your tax dollars to go overseas to fund endless violence and death and destruction in places? Or do you want it to pay for healthcare here at home? You want your money to go to give tax cuts to big oil, big pharma, or do you want it to pay for public education? Do you want it to go to the big banks and bailouts for the big banks, or would you rather go to like MDIs, minority depository institutions, or CDFIs, local, the ones that actually loan to smaller and actually set up zero interest loans for local entrepreneurs? All of that's on the table. It just depends who you elect. That's it.
Right.
And that's the U.S. Senate, right? That's not the president. The president's not making those decisions. The executive branch, yes, is very powerful because they can press a button and blow up the world. So that is, and then they can do presidential orders, commutations, expungements, and then they can, obviously, I'm not going to say that the United States presidency isn't powerful, but the U.S. Senate as a whole is more powerful than the executive branch because they do two things that are vital. One, lifetime appointments of federal judges. We're seeing how that affects us, these horrible Supreme Court rulings that we're seeing now. That's lifetime appointments of federal judges. And then two, controlling the money. And, you got to understand, U.S. Senator individually is the second only to the president, the highest federal elected office, right? And then the Senate as a whole, the 100 people, have more influence on the direction of this country than any other of the branches, in my opinion. The judicial branch, as well as, we about to go back to Schoolhouse Rock and start singing about, I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. Okay. And so if we take it back there, but point being, I'm going to have to work with other senators to get that money for education, for healthcare, for all that. It's not necessarily going to be about the president. Now, the president can veto or sign into law what the Senate passes, sure. But if it's Kamala Harris, she's not going to veto what we pass for public education. She's not going to veto what we pass for universal health care. If it's the other guy, then we'll see. We'll see.
And Hill, just to step in, you made a very, very, very important statement going back to the children and the kids that said they won't vote and they never will vote. They never voted because they don't understand. Like you said, when we look at most people, including now when I wasn't educated, when I look at the vote, we think of two people, the president, the two people that's running for president. And you made a good statement that you could speak to the kids, like why they don't think that voting is important.
Right.
And we got to educate the young brothers on what government really is and how it actually works. It's more than just the two parties, the president, these two people, that controls everything. You know what I'm saying? You talked about the Senate, the House, the judges, the Attorney General, District Attorney, the Mayor, the Council. All these people take importance in everyday life that's connected strictly to us,
right?
To the people that's on the ground, like City Council. You don't want to vote, okay? City, if you have issues in your neighborhood, why are trash not getting picked up on time or littering? That's issues that you can take to your city council.
Right.
Affordable housing and things like that. These are the issues that you could take to the people that's down ballot. You know what I mean? And that's not just the president. People that's in charge of how long will you stay in jail if you're incarcerated, or when you get out. And like I said, being able to vote while you incarcerated, you know, and things like that. So if we educate the youth on why is it important to vote, and it's bigger than just the presidency, I think we have a better turnout than that. And
I think a lot of that goes back to, you know, you look in this country, we took civics out of school.
Yeah.
That was the beginning, right?
Yeah.
That was the beginning of this of the separation from everyone's common conversations about these things to just being so distant from the conversation. Because again, like I brought up earlier, these are not normal things that we would discuss in the modern age of the Black home, in terms of voter engagement, registration, all of these type of things, but also the things that matter, the things that we're concerned about, and who we should be looking for to share those concerns of ours and present those concerns to the people that matter. Once we started to take certain things out of school, that alone took not only the conversation, but the information away from young Black people and young children of color to even have an entry point. That's the problem. These kids want all, but they don't even have the proper entry point into the conversation. And even if they care, even if
that's a great point. That's a great point.
It's to want to vote. Okay, how do I even vote?
Right. Some people don't even think they're eligible. Like I know some young people who don't even know that they're eligible. Our country, unfortunately, has made a mockery out of our democracy for years because we've always seen it not go in our favor. So a lot of times young people believe that we don't really play a role. We can go to vote because it's a right that we have, but those votes don't count towards anything that benefits us. So I think that is a lot of the people's attitude too. The young people, they're like, what am I doing this for? It does not directly affect me. The things that come out or the outcome is never in my favor. Why am I a part of that? So I think that's a problem too.
No, there's, not to cut you off, there's direct information campaign, disinformation campaigns, right? Right on these social media platforms to discourage people. There are bots that will come in your comments and say, why do you even care about this anyway? Ain't nothing gonna change. Why are you even, like there is a huge and it's not even an American campaign. Most of these bot centers are happening in China and in Russia and all of these different communist countries in support of regimes that know that if a certain person becomes president, that person will be more sensitive to people that operate in those manners. So it's just a matter of us, the Beanies, the Bun B's, the JBs, the Shaheems, the Londons, people like that, for us to go out as representatives of people like Hill Harper into the community, back up the things that he's stating, back up the things that he's fighting for, and help the education process.
To that point, look at what the parties are doing with this primary as an example, right? Neither party is spending any money to educate the public that the primary is happening. So all the people like that I run into, so many and this is the scary piece here, is so many I run into, man, you're running, that's right, I'm gonna vote for you in November, dog. I'm like, if you don't vote for me in August,
you're gonna miss it.
I won't be on the ballot in November. And then they say, what? And they say, what's August? Right? And so the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, so both of the parties are culpable in this, is they're going to show up with tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars in October saying, you know, save the country, we're going to win this in November. But they want to choose their establishment candidates to win the primary. And they know historically, low turnout, establishment candidates win. High turnout, insurgent, grassroots candidates win. You know, and so they want to suppress the turnout by suppressing the fact that there's even an election happening. I was just out. This is why I'm just like, I was just out at a thing that I had to do, a candidate forum, and then I went from there to this house music thing on the way home where there's, you know, 500 people and just wanted to hand out lit. And so when I tell you, these are adults at a house music thing. This ain't kids, right? They're like, hold on, man, I see your lawn signs. I thought it was November. And these are adults. And I'm like, no, it's a primary this Tuesday. They're like, this Tuesday? And I'm like, damn. you know, but that's the party. The parties want to maintain power. They don't want insurgent candidates winning. So they know that the lower they keep it. That's why this is so important, going out to all your different networks to let people know that there's early voting happening right now. Tomorrow, you can vote from 9 to 5 at 18 locations around Detroit and throughout the state of Michigan. Remember, this is a statewide race, not just Detroit. And early voting Saturday, early voting Sunday, go after church, wherever you are, till 5 o'clock. There's no voting on Monday the 5th, and then election day, polls are open till 8 o'clock all day, right? We have to win during these days, right? The absentee voter is probably not heading my way. That's the establishment, older folks from other parts of the state. You know, we got to turn out voters all over the state that are younger voters, that are voters that would be voting in the general election, right? African American, Arab, Muslim, Latino, Asian, young progressives, environmentalists, these groups and pockets of people that don't normally vote in primaries. We can do that.
Okay.
Really important. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, hopefully we can.
We gotta jump off real quick.
You gotta jump off, okay. All right.
Yeah, we got a show to get to. But look, you got our support.
You're gonna live stream the show. I want to see the show. Come on.
Let
me live vicariously. Let me live vicariously.
JB,
just so much respect. Thank you so much.
bro.
Such a pleasure.
Yeah, we're here for you.
We're gonna make sure all our followers in Michigan, you know, do what they supposed to do. So we got you. We're gonna hold you down, bro.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
Hold up, one more question before we jump off. You know, me and Beans are both Muslim, and we know it's a large Islamic community that's in Michigan. So, what are you planning, you know, to do to help the Islamic community out there?
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
That's right. I'm so proud that I have the endorsement from the Arab American Political Action Committee, the Arab and Muslim Political Action Committee, Engage, all the top political leaders that are from Dearborn and Dearborn Heights, Dr. Abdullah Sayed, Nasser Beydoun, Ahmed Boomrad, Mayor Bill Bazzi from Dearborn Heights. Because I came out for ceasefire, I was one of the first U.S. Senate candidates to call for, in the country, to call for ceasefire back in November. And that community is so important in Michigan and around the world that I've already said publicly that I would have a member of the Arab and Muslim community as a top member in my cabinet, either a chief of staff or deputy chief of staff level. I've already said that when it's time for appointing federal judges, that I would appoint and fight to have a Muslim federal lifetime appointment judge appointed, which has not happened, obviously on the Supreme Court level. And so we're in this together, and that's the whole unity idea. If we can bring the Black community, the Arab and Muslim community, immigrant communities, and young people, environmentalists, we can build coalitions of power, right? We can build these coalitions. That's how we do it. That's how you fight back against money. So money interests, that's powerful, but money doesn't vote. People do, and that's the thing. Polls don't vote. People do. And so we can build these coalitions. So that's a big coalition for me. And in fact, I just came off of Zoom earlier, which is I refused money from AIPAC, and which was about this idea of AIPAC and how they're attempted to control election outcomes.
Appreciate you, man. Like I said before, you got our support 100%. God willing, you know, everything go the right way on Tuesday. That's my birthday too, so we going up.
Oh, beautiful. Okay.
Yeah.
You got
Going up. We're going up.
All right, everybody have a good night.
All right, good.
Thank you, Beans. We
Great
have
show.
over 600 people have donated to you just on this call. Helphillwin.com. Please keep going. Helphillwin.com. JB, did you have a point that you wanted to make? Prior to freeway speaking.
I was just saying, man, the magnitude of what we are in right now is so important. And I was just saying, I wish there was a no distraction day. You know what I mean? I wish we had full focus on something this important at this time. You know, and we are so distracted by so many things. And we get caught up in distractions and we don't even take the time to learn how to vote, take the time to understand the system. We're so caught up in other things, man. This beast right here is a beast.
Yeah.
It has actually the best worst invention ever, and it keeps us distracted. And we talked about earlier about getting these messages, these things that come in, these destructive messages that are basically um, keeping your mind from focusing on things that are important.
Right.
And these are all distractions. If we can find some pocket there, we can focus on what we need. We can get this done. We can get this done.
Oh
You
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
It's not
I
a
remember
lifetime.
you said you were running. I said the one thing that's going to be needed is unity.
Yeah.
That's how you
Yes.
set the money with the unity.
That's right.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah,
I
we
want to
got to
say
get it
something for the
together.
young people, also for the young people who are tuning in. You know, they always hear respect your elders, and respect what works both ways. You know, a lot of us, we want to talk with you, not at you. You know, like we need y'all for real. Like I really understand what the children are the future means, like at the age I am now and having children. You know, like we want to talk with y'all. So don't get discouraged and feel like you can't get through to somebody just because somebody on your block won't listen to you, or they try to down you every time you voice your opinion. We here for you.
And a good point, a good follow on that is, I hear this from young people all the time that they get frustrated that they may get invited to the conversation, but they don't have a title, they don't have a budget. And so one thing that I want to do in the office is make sure that there is a cutout for youth, as far as a legitimate like campaign manager, youth campaign manager, or youth Senate management role with a budget to execute, where they don't have to ask permission. They have their own budget. What do you want to do? How do you want to execute this? You make the decision of how to execute this vertical. And that's that's something I'd love to do, because marrying a title and the ability to make decisions where you don't have to ask permission, because that's what I hear from young people. Like, why do I don't really have power if I got to get permission before after the decision's made. And so you know, that's really important, and I think that's empowering.
Yeah.
This was a powerful. Oh, go ahead.
It's really beautiful how how you guys have brought a lot of people into the fold right now that are all involved in their communities in some form of way. And it's so important to have those children do that, to have the young people be involved in their community, try to take back some of their own power as well in that space. And just all of us continue to be involved in our community right now. You know, I'm from Chicago, like I said, but I too am doing a Build Back My Community project in Chicago called Chicago. So we're doing a lot there, and it's so important to support these spaces that's happening. And Hill, you are just so amazing. We have been like pushing this hard. I'm so excited that these many people have been coming on to donate for you right now, and I just hope it just continues to happen within these 5 days. You need this. We have 5 days to make it happen. So let's go.
Pushing the line, pushing that line.
Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Incredible conversation tonight, and you know we have to keep these conversations going in the days leading to election day on August the 6th, and after August the 6th. We have to keep going. It's our community. Only together will we make these changes. You know, Hill is he's in the forefront, but we have to support the brother. Keep pushing it. I want to thank Phil Agnew, who was on here earlier. There's a young rapper from Detroit. His name is Tay B. I think he had some technical difficulties before he had to jump off, but you know he wanted to come on and support you. So hopefully we can link y'all soon. The incredibly talented, beautiful Miss London Charles. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. This was amazing.
Yes. The beautiful family, our goals, the Smooth family. Thank you so much for joining. Beanie Siegel and Freeway, Wayno, the young legend, Bun B, the Trill OG, Thank you so much. And everybody that joined in tonight, it was so important. We have some questions from people, and we'll direct them to you, and maybe Hill, you could answer them on your social media, because everybody's engaged. They're listening, they're taking everything in, they're supporting you with their dollars. We have over 650 people that were watching tonight that have donated to helphillwin.com. So let's just keep it going. Let's just keep it going. And August 6th, let's show out. Let's show out for our brother Hill. Hill, do you have any last words in closing?
No, I just want to say thank you to everybody that took the time to be on this panel, and you all have so many things to do for you to take this time out. I can't even tell you how grateful and thankful I am. Everybody who took the time to listen, who's listening, who asked questions, thank you. This is how, let's stay engaged. Let's stay in this together. And I'll just finish with this. First three words of the Michigan Constitution, first three words of the U.S. Constitution are exactly the same. We the people. Doesn't say we the super PAC, doesn't say we the independent expenditure, doesn't say we the political party, doesn't say we the politician, doesn't say we the big donor. It doesn't say we the corporate entity. It says we the people. So we the people have the power. And as long as we're united and together, when we fight, we win. And I truly believe that when we fight, we win. We just got to keep fighting, y'all, and fight together, though. We have to fight together. And this, to me, this represents that so much. I feel so emboldened now. Shoot, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go out and find some more voters. I ain't going to bed. I ain't going to bed. I'm gonna go talk to voters. So just thank you, everybody. So appreciate this, and again, God bless. Thank you so much.
Go get it.
Having us.
Let's do it. Let's keep it going.
Go
Thank you,
Hill.
everyone.
Let's go.
All right, y'all.
God bless everybody.
God bless
you,
everybody. It was so great meeting you all.
Peace, everybody.
Peace, brother.
Peace, Shaheem.
Thank you. Peace.
Dear Pierce, I'm recording this video for you because I'm about to make a big announcement. And it's gonna be tough for us. I'm not gonna be able to tuck you in every night or do our nighttime prayers together. But these are sacrifices so many hardworking families have to make every single day. Fighting for what you believe in is hard enough, but it's worth doing when you found something that makes your heart beat faster. And for me, it's you. Yeah, I've started a nonprofit, owned a small business in Detroit, even beat cancer. Served on President Obama's cancer panel, earned Ivy League degrees, and written best-selling books. But for me, adopting you is the greatest thing I've done in my life. You see, the world you're growing up in doesn't feel like it's getting any better. It's more divisive and more dangerous. When you told me that you were afraid to go to school because of shootings, it's not freedom. Our economy works for the richest, while the most vulnerable have to work even harder than ever to keep up. That's not freedom. At the core of so much of this are too many politicians in office that don't really care about people. You see, what I learned on my grandfather's farm growing up is that when you plant something in good soil, you get something much better in return. That's why I'm raising you in Michigan. A community where people are kind, work hard, and believe the future is worth fighting for. Because every child in every neighborhood, in every town across Michigan deserves the freedom to flourish. I believe our government should work for the people, be a force for good, and protect our freedoms. And that won't happen if we keep electing the same type of people to office. That's why I'm running for the United States Senate, to represent Michigan. I love you, son, and I hope to make you proud.
Michigan is more than just a state.
This is my seat.
It's a powerhouse of innovation and grit. From the farmlands to neighborhoods of this Midwestern state, we are doers, movers, and shakers, trailblazers, fueled by a relentless spirit, a state of mind, body, and soul. Our differences make us unique, but it's our hustle and grit that binds us together. This Senate seat belongs to you. This seat represents the diversity of our people, communities, and businesses. And that's why I'm here to fight for you. The small business owners, college students, and creatives, it's time to shake up the norm and bring the power back to the people.
This is my seat.
This is your seat. Michigan, are you ready? Vote Hill Harper, U.S. Senate 2024.
Everybody up the hill, there's a way, there's a will. Give it up for James Chappelle.
This is not a time to be complacent or afraid. The problem in Michigan is that people don't know that you have a primary in August. But man, you're doing the right thing, Hill. You're doing exactly what I do. Just talk to the streets and you'll be fine. Call your friends, mobilize people and tell them to vote. I know Hill for a long time. He's not a career politician. It's not polls and focus groups that moves his mind. Put somebody in office that actually can hear your voice or is connected to these streets. Having your heart in the right place or being authentic in a time like this is a miracle of human behavior. Make some noise for the man of the hour, Hill Harper.
Hi, I'm Hill Harper, and I'm running to be the next U.S. Senator for Michigan. And I'm in this race to represent the people of Michigan, not big donors, not the establishment. And I'm fighting for better working conditions for everyday people and better solutions from our so-called leaders in Washington. And now I'm stepping up to serve you. You see, we're building a movement that will bring material change for citizens. So can you chip in what you can today, $5, $10, $25, to elect an unbossed, unbought champion to go to the U.S. Senate?